It's Carl and Lou here from Games, Brains and Head-Banging Life with something a little bit different for you. We are about to talk about Halloween Kills. This is a review, but not a review in the normal way we do things. E.g., we're not going to give you a detailed breakdown of the plot. No. We're not going to go into detail about certain things. We're not going to reveal spoilers. No. This is simply, we've seen the latest Halloween movie, and we wanted to talk about it this Halloween weekend. Yeah. So, just some facts and stuff quickly. Directed by David Gordon Green, written by Green, Danny McBride and Scott Teens. It is a sequel to 2018's Halloween and the 12th instalment in the Halloween franchise. The film stars Jamie Lee Curtis and Jude Courtney, who reprised the roles as Laurie Strode and Michael Myers. Judy Greer, Andy Matchak and Will Patton also reprised their roles from the previous film, with Anthony Michael Hall and Thomas Mann, amongst others, joining the cast. The film, which begins precisely where the previous film ends, sees Strode and her family continuing to fend off Myers, this time with the help of the Haddonfield community. Right, before we get into it, quick, let's do our histories of Halloween. So let me start with mine. I've seen everything that's ever come out movie-wise of Halloween. From the very first movie, which I consider one of the greatest horror movies ever made, 10 out of 10, it is, to Halloween 2, which I think's a decent movie, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Bizarre.
The three bastard sequels, 4, 5 and 6. And they're the bastard sequels because obviously the film after 6 would retcon those. But 4, 5 and 6, there is stuff that's good to be found in them. There are some that are really particularly good and are worth watching for just characters and stuff that don't deserve to be forgotten about. Danielle Harris, obviously as a child, her child debut films as Jamie. She's wonderful in it. You know, Paul Rudd's debut film in Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween 6. There's stuff to be found, even though they're flawed as fuck. Obviously, Halloween H20, 20 years later. Very popular film that is seeing a bit of a backlash these days because of how 90s it feels. But I still thoroughly enjoy it. It's got elements I really enjoy. Obviously, it's a direct sequel to the original Halloween movies, ignoring 4, 5 and 6 completely. Bringing back Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode. Yeah. Then Halloween Resurrection, which to me is the worst Halloween movie ever. I fucking despise that movie. You kill off Laurie Strode in the first 10 minutes because she was contractually obligated to be in it and didn't want to. And then you make this horrible fucking thing where it's a teen fucking slasher, people going around with fucking cameras in his home, and Busta Rhymes fist fighting Michael Myers at the end. And I hate that there's a section of people out there that have done this thing where they want to almost just be stupid, where like, oh, it's great because of that. No, it's not. It's fucking stupid. I hate it. I hate that movie with a passion. Then, of course, along comes Mr. Rob Zombie. Following on success of things like House of Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, gets his hands on Halloween and says, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to remake it, but it's going to be different. I'm going to have a bit more of an origin story to Michael Myers, a bit more depth to it, and change elements to it. And it's enjoyable. It's a different take, and it's enjoyable to a degree, provided you can get past the Rob Zombie tropes. Yeah. However, he followed that up with his own sequel, Halloween 2, which was pants. Fucking pants. Didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. And that's it. Obviously Halloween 2018. Sorry, I should mention that as well. I really liked it. I went in very sceptical. Didn't love the idea of doing a direct sequel to the first one only, but accepted it. Came away very, very, very happy with it. Felt like it made Michael Myers scary again. Thought it was a really well-told story. Liked how it wrapped up. You know, at the end, I just really, really enjoyed it. So that's my history of it. You?
So mine is, I saw Halloween 1 and 2 fairly young. I remember sort of certain parts, especially with Halloween 2 with the nurse being killed in the
bath,
the
therapy bath, yeah.
Because that was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And being quite young, you not seen lots and lots, and now it's like, tell a penny what's nasties now. And then Halloween H20. Is it H? I used to call it H2O.
Well, it's 20, isn't it?
H20.
It's not H2O, it's water, is it? 20 years later. It's called Halloween H20, 20 years later.
Oh, penis. I remember that one. I didn't hate that one, but no, I didn't know the real anything else past that. We watched Halloween 3 together quite recently.
Season of the Witch, last year.
And that stupid song in my head. That's now back again.
What is it now? Wait, what is it? What day? We're 29th, yeah?
29th, yeah.
2 more days to Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 2 more days to Halloween, Silver Shamrock. It's in your head.
I like the mastery stand out. So that things like that would be like cool tattoo. Like if you're doing like Halloween, you can do like little references to it, which we'll go on to. And then and then obviously the 2 Rob Zombie ones. Obviously again skeptical about Rob Zombie because
he's a hack.
We've kind of gone.
I make no bones about it. If you watch my videos regularly, he was a one-trick pony. and resulted in a good movie in House of the Thousand Corpses and a great movie in The Devil's Rejects, everything afterwards is a fucking disgrace.
Yeah.
Or crap, or just pointless, and just seen it all before. And the most recent output, things like Free From Hell, and like I said, Halloween 2. And I've taken one look at this Monsters thing and gone, you know what? Well, that's cool. Rob Zombie. Nope. Don't want to know.
Shockingly, he's got his wife cast again as the wife in it. I'm like, oh, no.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. But that's all I've not seen. 4, 5, and 6. No. Or Resurrection. I've not seen Busta Rhymes.
Oh, man.
But I kind of want to see it now.
One that maybe next year, because it's a time-consuming event, we will do an in-depth of the Halloween, plan it for next Halloween. We obviously don't have enough time this weekend, but you are talking about a lot of movies. In fact, actually, the timing will be fucking perfect because the last of this trilogy, Halloween Ends, is due out mid-October next year. Yeah. So we'll get everything prepared and do the full in-depth of the entire franchise next year. Ooh. Hold us to that, provided we're still alive.
Yeah.
Provided that important aspect,
ominous.
Yeah, provided we're still alive. So, following Halloween 2018, I went into Halloween Kills with expectation. I didn't necessarily think it was going to be a great movie because it's a Halloween movie and I always approach them now with trepidation. But I also was worried that it was a pre-announced middle film. And that was like, okay, you're telling people it's a trilogy.
Yeah.
Right. What are we getting? Are we getting Empire Strikes Back? Like that kind of thing where it's a middle film, but there's really fucking solid middle film that leaves enough. Or are we just getting something that feels like, oh, look, we got to fill some time until you get to what you really want to see, that kind of thing. Unfortunately, I think it's the latter. To me, Halloween Kills is a waste of time. I don't think it's a bad movie at all. You'd go online, you're going to read varying thoughts, hear varying thoughts. But some people calling it an amazing movie. I personally think they're lying. Because
like weird comments that people put into like Boost.
Well, it's more just like you can like this movie and you can think it's a good movie, but to turn around and call it a classic or amazing, I'm confused. I just kind of feel like you're being that's unnecessary. Like you can think something's good without thinking it's an amazing movie. Yeah. I think this is a good movie. I think it's a good Halloween movie and it's better than a lot of the sequels that we've got over the years. However, likewise, I also think if you say this is a terrible movie, you're also talking shit. Yeah. Because I find that baffling. What is terrible about it? What didn't you like? And stuff like that. Of course, it's an opinion thing stands. But I don't think that carte blanche is my opinion. Explain your opinion. Like, I'm going to tell you why I think it's a waste of time. I'm going to explain why I think it's a waste of time. And it's simply this. It doesn't move the story along enough. It doesn't move it forward enough. Yeah. It doesn't have enough momentum to give you enough to make this feel like anything but a middling, slow-moving mess.
Yeah.
At times, it, dare I say, takes things back a step.
Yeah.
Because what I really liked about Halloween 2018 was that it was a fresh take and effectively gave them a clean slate. They'd moved on, made a sequel to the original Halloween, and were like, we can go. Yeah. And I feel like this movie, in between attempting to put as many references as they thought they could, some subtle and are good, some not so subtle and a bit like, all right, we get it. But alongside that, it takes beats from Halloween 2, back in a hospital, stuff like that. Yeah. It's like, okay, so you're not really doing your own original thing anymore. You had this opportunity, and instead you've fallen back on the tropes.
Yeah. Part of these, there's the scenes where they're kind of like calmly talking about stuff and like reminiscing about stuff. Felt like, like sometimes they have like the reunion shows now.
Right.
They're becoming such a big thing now.
Yep.
Of where they all sit around and going, oh, do you remember when Michael first came along? And it just, like, the pacing of it, it feels like that kind of conversation would happen once it's all over. Like, this is still happening. Like,
well, yeah, but from the perspective of some, it's not. Like, remember that. Like, for example, like when we first were introduced to Tommy Doyle, who's back in this, and the characters who all survived events with Michael Myers in the original, they don't know Michael was back. The events that happened with Laurie happened at her house. They will find that later on. The same with Laurie in the hospital. She doesn't know Michael is alive then. He survived the fire. Talking of which, probably one of the best sequences in the movie is initially at the start. And it's part of what you saw in the trailer, which is when Michael breaks out of the house and just goes to town on the firefighters.
That is great, yeah.
Thing is, I get it. I also get why you might not like that. Because ultimately, that's less stalky. That's just brutal killer.
Yeah.
And it's a bit reminiscent of Rob Zombie's version of Michael Myers.
Yeah, it's outright brutality.
Yeah, outright brutality. But it is entertaining as fuck to watch.
Yeah, sometimes we get like, the angle switch to actually be a firefighter. You
Yep.
see inside the visor with their helmets.
Yeah, there's some good. It's a good visual. It's a good visual thing.
And the fire in the background, it does look epic.
It is. It is. That's the thing. It's just an enjoyable watch. Just like a lot of the death scenes, I think, in the movie are an enjoyable watch.
They are brutal.
They are brutal, and are often done in an interesting way, and always using, not necessarily because he can't get a knife, potentially using other weapons. You know, stabbing the woman with the light tube.
That was the worst one for me.
It's pretty horrible.
That was awful.
But I also really like how that scene's followed up with Michael stabbing the guy in the back several times to test out knives.
Yeah.
To find one that he liked. That's like a cool little touch and stuff like that. The problem is that the Laurie Strode aspect just doesn't move forward. She ends up in the hospital, and that is where she stays for the entire movie.
I said to you, they could have made her injuries less severe because they showed the surgery, don't they? I thought maybe make that less severe to recover from. So she's going to be in pain, but not. She moves, she's going to rip all her fucking stitches out. It just felt a bit like, well, okay, we're keeping her here then.
We need to keep her here, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a waste of Jamie Lee Curtis.
It felt like a waste of a lot of people.
Yeah.
I would say as well as that, Will Patton. What the fuck's the point of him in this? All right, he survives his attack by Michael in the first, but like other than having a reminiscent moment with Laurie in the hospital, it was pointless them being here. Yeah. What this film wants to do is it wants to do this two things, which is
keep them on ice until the last film.
we have a plan for you, but we can't put you in harm's way right now. Yeah. So you've got to stay here. But all it really wants to do is go, look, we're bringing back these characters from the earlier film, like your Tommy Dawes and all that, and we're going to deal with that. The big selling point for this movie, the one thing that initially made me excited was, from the trailer and what I heard about it, was the idea of the town fighting back. I thought that was a great angle. I love the idea of the hunter becoming the hunted. Yeah, I'm so disappointed with how that turned out.
Because it would make sense, like, because if after all these years it still can't be got rid of, and like the impact on the town would have been huge. You say you would get tourist ghouls coming through.
I think they sold that really well.
Yeah, like you get tourist ghouls coming through, like you're sick of it, you know, and now it's starting over again.
Well, I said it to you best. I said, what you guys on the other side of this camera, when I say Haddonfield, what do you think of? So imagine that if that was a real event. And that's what people think of Haddonfield. You can't say where you come from. But you said to them, oh, you go somewhere new. Where you from? Haddonfield. Oh, isn't that place from?
Because it happens in real life, doesn't it? When people get murdered in certain places, you're like, oh, it's always going to be known as that place. Like,
it does. Yeah. So I really like that aspect, but I don't think it's handled well. No. I don't think it's done well at all.
It's unfortunate.
And obviously it leads to what is probably one of the most divisive parts of the movie, I've noticed for some people, which is the mob mentality of hunting down the guy they think is Michael Myers because he's the other escaped mental patient.
How long is that scene?
That scene is long.
Too long.
Really, really long. And my biggest problem is it really thinks it's doing something powerful. Yeah. It thinks it's doing powerful social commentary. But I don't really think it comes across well. I think it comes across stupid. It requires people to be dumb because this guy looks nothing. I mean, looks nothing like Michael Myers. The whole point is you don't know what Michael Myers. It's the build, it's the behaviour. In the case of people like Tommy Doyle, he hasn't seen Michael in 40 years. Fair enough.
He's not shrunk that much.
But like the chase of in the hospital goes on forever. Him throwing himself out the window. It's just.
I told you because because in the cinema I couldn't really talk to you about it. But afterwards I said, if you've seen Basketball, there's a bit when they're running through the hospital. I can't remember the two names. Trey Parker and Matt Stone, their characters are running through the hospital, and they stop dead, but they slam into Squeak like multiple times and just knock him flying. And they do that in his film, and I was laughing rather than taking it seriously. It was just
with the music playing. It's supposed to be really powerful. The sheriff at the end sitting looking at his hat.
It's just your job. Get everyone out of the hospital in terms of like, you'd kind of like, I don't know, escort people home or just say go home. Like
it just. Well, the whole point is he tries doing that, and it's like no, mob rules, because what this film really wants to do is get a tagline over.
Oh, no.
It wants to get one thing over specific, and that is the word "evil dies tonight."
I noticed a lot of comments said that.
It's so dumb.
And that was kind of like a universal thing. A lot of the more negative reviews, they all had a little mention of that. You're not going to get that catchphrase over, guys.
Yeah, you're not going to get it over.
So,
having a crowd chanting, which then brings us to what I think is the film's biggest undoing. The dialogue and the conversations. Everybody talks in sound bites. Where it's almost like they're speaking for a trailer. And it's always about evil, and it's about a sort of abstract version of it rather than the specifics. Now, I get it. This film wants you to see Michael in a certain way, and it will confirm that by the end. And that's fine. I've got no problem with that. But these are human characters, human people.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're going, evil dies tonight, and chanting it with fists in the air.
Even the letter that the daughter leaves for...
Yep, it's just got this abstract way of talking about things. Rather than saying, hey, we need to kill this motherfucker, it's all like, evil comes in darkness and shades, and we must end this tonight, or this town will disappear into the... And you're like, what the fuck is this?
And I feel sometimes that the way they talk, it's like, they feel like the people who are watching it, are they trying to appeal to like a new Halloween audience? Because they
you can't.
No, they talk like, some of them talk, they kind of repeat what happened.
There is a lot of repeating about the events in this film.
There's like a bit at the beginning, the police officer's like, oh, Haddonfield, a quiet town where nothing happened. But it's like, it sounds like really, like,
Sound bites.
Yeah, and your ineptitude shows us that. Like, you're two small-time cops. The fact you go into that situation shows me you don't get much of this happening. Like, make your behaviour show me that you're not used to serial killers of this ilk. But saying like, oh, look at this quiet town. It's like saying, I'll be back, I can scream, and they take the piss out of that.
I'm okay with that because we're all in the know. That's the problem. We're all in the know, and it's a 12th Halloween movie, so it's not like you could be expecting. If you didn't see all of them, you've seen other ones and things like that. The thing is that what I think the movie wants to do more than anything else is simply set up Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
And that is a big problem. And what frustrates me is the acceptance that that's okay. That this movie you either paid for, you gave your money over, you spent time waiting to see, you spent your time seeing, you've given the effort that they require for you to do it. And they've gone, listen, it's just all right. We're just kind of treading water. Yeah. Come back in a year's time.
Yeah.
No, you can do a satisfying thing while still leaving enough room. You know what the most frustrating thing is when I found out that Halloween Ends is going to take place 4 years after this. 4 years after this. So you could have had a more definitive, powerful ending and story. Because it's not happening directly afterwards. It's 4 years later. So you're like, oh, okay, so you really could have, you could have Empire Strike Back this. You could have done this properly. Let's do this. What's the worst and best moments of it for you?
So, the worst is the the hospital mob. That whole scene is just horrendous.
Yep. Okay.
With the whole upright sympathy for this guy. Like, he's escaped from a criminally insane asylum. So, like,
chances are he might have done something naughty.
Yeah. So, like, I'm not saying he's got to be like hounded to his death. I'm not saying that at all. But like the fact we're supposed to go, oh my god.
But do you see what happens with mob rules?
Oh, it was just so hammered home. It was like, no, don't like that at all. Best moments. The brutality of his kills really took me for like. I really, really enjoyed it. I'd say my best moment was the light tube, because that felt, it wasn't just a knife or anything else, or an axe or anything, a hatchet or anything like that. It was, yes, really horribly done. And she made him he made her watch. The both of them saw each other die, their husbands as well. For me, that definitely stood out for me the most was the.
Well, I'll start with the best for me. It's the opening, the return to 1978. Which they did fucking brilliantly, and to show how Micah got arrested. I love that part. I love how they brought Dr. Loomis back in, which of course was not CG. It was done with special, what's it called, with prosthetic makeup and an actor that resembles Donald Pleasance. Big fan of that. Loved it. Felt very Halloween. That opening got me right back into it. I was like, yeah, here we fucking go. Let's do this.
And I do like the fact that again it references like small town cops. The fact that he didn't shoot Michael. I like the fact that was like he had a chance to, but he was still. It's not the norm for these cops. They're not,
of course,
they're not city cops. So
of course,
I like that kind of like element of it. It wasn't just like fake. Oh, we should kill him. Well, no, not really. Like no.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but right, the worst then for me. So the character of Lonnie, his son, and the girl. All go off to Michael Myers' house near the end of the movie, thinking he might be there. Bear in mind, Michael Myers has cut a bloody fucking swathe through this town, and they all know he exists right now, including one of them fought him in the very Halloween. Her grandmother got stabbed by him. They know how dangerous he is. 3 of them go to this house alone. There's your problem alone. What the fuck is that? Then Lonnie's like, you guys stay here, I'm going to go and check on my own. And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me?
I'll see you at the final
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking are you kidding me? Why were you getting your characters be this stupid?
Yeah.
Be this fucking stupid.
I Yeah, it was just really.
It's
bizarrely
unacceptable.
done.
It's
I'll be right
unacceptable.
back.
It's unacceptable at this stage in the movie, let alone this many sequels and the events that took fucking place.
There's another bit that stands out in my head as well that I thought was a bit like the really random talent competition. And
Oh,
like,
right,
the couple
It's
that
just
are
so they
there,
can have the conversation and fill in the blanks.
I feel like the couple that are there are young enough to go to somewhere a bit more hip and a bit
Right.
more fun than this random talent show.
Yeah, but the sexy nurse does get killed in a hilarious way.
Oh yeah,
He kicks Michael kicks the door when she goes to shoot him.
Yeah.
So the gun flies up and shoots herself in the face.
So that was good. I enjoyed that, but like, the talent show and Tommy like buzzkill.
Oh right, yeah.
We're having fun at Halloween, but remember, like, you know, we're all fucking still stalked by this evil. Cheers, guys. Have some fun.
It's because but remember,
We had to. I know you had to kind of like.
Yeah.
Start showing things. But
I'm not saying I particularly cared for it
talent show
either.
was shit.
I'm not saying I particularly cared for it either, but it just worked in the conjunction of bringing everybody up to speed at this point. I think that's an interesting aspect, though. The film feels like constantly like it's not flowing that well, and that simply we kind of want you to just look at references and then remember that it's about Laurie Strode and stuff like that, but we can't utilise her properly here. It's a shame because overall I think the acting's really, really good. Of course, Courtney as Michael Myers I think does a really, really great job. Aspects I like, is him getting his mask taken off from here and things like that. These are stuff I like, but when it amounts to nothing but Michael kills loads of people again.
Yeah.
It's like...
just give us a mega mix of that. Just do like a montage of kills. Halloween kills. Half an hour of kills.
The problem is a lot of people who's killing as well, I just don't care about. I just don't care. I just didn't care about. Look, I get it. They're popular online. But I didn't care about Little John and Big John. I like the characters. I like the characters, but I didn't care that they died.
Michael was homophobic though.
Yeah, oh my fucking God. Right, I swear to Christ, if you're one of those out there saying that... who have said, and I've seen thankfully I've only seen a few small articles about it, but any suggestion that Michael is homophobic because he killed he kills everyone.
I know.
Every single one.
And it makes Haddonfield more believable as a modern place to live. There's a gay couple living there. And it was just like...
Just fucking enjoy the slasher horror movie, man. Guys, really? Are you kidding me? What about the women? Well, we don't know their sexual orientation.
There's an older black lady that gets killed. There's a younger black lady that gets killed.
Is he? Exactly.
Children. Old people. I don't think he's got like...
White people. It's come on. Like, stop being stupid.
I think sometimes people look for an angle and it kind of gets blown out of like, oh, have you... It's bullshit.
And bear in mind as well, Little John and Big John are living in his house.
Yeah.
His old house, because that's an important angle of this film. Take that as you will. I think that's going to be important. I thought it would be important, but knowing Halloween Ends comes out 4 years later makes me go, maybe not that important.
I can't you could have had Michael coming in and like didn't like their interior decorating.
Interior decorating.
That's why he killed them.
Yep, there's that.
These throw rugs. I actually quite like the way he redecorated actually. But...
One of the biggest problems I have with Halloween Kills is simply I found myself rooting for Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Particularly at the end as well. And that's never happened before. You can enjoy a villain, but Michael Myers is one I think you can dislike because ultimately he's so nothing. He's empty. He's the shape. To have me cheering him on, and I don't want to spoil what it is, but there's a specific death that we were both like, do it. Fucking do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
I want him in the third film to lean more into the supernatural element because there's no way like this...
Well, it has to.
It has to because it's just like you couldn't get behind anything that kind of ignores everything and goes, he's still a human being. Like, because you look at this film and go, okay, there's all these people together, they've done this, and this to him. Go with that element.
I'll be interested to see. I will have high hopes for it because at least it's the end of this trilogy and we'll have to, and that effectively will end it, I guess, until the next fucking time. But we go back to the start and it's simply put, this is so middling. You can enjoy it though, and I did enjoy parts of it. Yeah. I never openly hated it. There were times I rolled my eyes, the hospital, most of the fucking time. There were times I thought,
evil dice,
evil, like I didn't like that. There were times when I laughed because I thought it was stupid. And stuff like that. But there were more than times where I was like, yeah, I like that. Or that's good. Or that's nice. I like this. Or I like that part. References that I noticed. I'm like, hey, that was a cool reference. Yeah. Some of it was a bit silly. I know these are kind of popular with the internet world. Like the one that's doing the rounds now is that in the mob fight at the end, one of the people brought an iron.
It's stupid.
But I don't like that. No. That's not what for me. I don't find that amusing. I find that stupid. And I'm like, don't do that to Halloween. Like I thought we were trying to improve the franchise.
Yeah, because it makes sense in like other films. Like it's a silly thing in a Jurassic World. There's someone that's running from dinosaurs, but he's still got his margaritas and just running away. And then someone noticed it and made a meme out of that. But that makes sense in the conjunction of that. But with Halloween, it's just like.
It just doesn't work for me what I want from a Halloween movie. And of course, I'm not going to get completely what I want. This film is not what I wanted, full stop. No. But for me, it's middle. It's so middle, and I keep coming back to that and saying, like, if you never see Halloween Kills, other than other than the ending and a specific thing that happens at the end, see that in a clip, and that's all you need to see.
Yeah.
That's seriously, think about it. Don't spoil it.
No.
But what happens in regards to that specific event?
Yeah.
Then tell that, and if you knew that and tell me anything else about the movie, would it matter?
No.
Oh, right, it could help deepen your relationship, but like, think about Halloween Ends jumping 4 years later. Laurie's just going to be at the hospital. None of that's going to matter. Yeah. None of that is going to matter.
Yeah.
The only thing that's going to matter is what happened at the end of this film.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, then why the fuck did I sit through the previous 70, 80 minutes if the only last 10 was what was going to matter?
Yeah.
Shit.
Trilogies, man. It's going to struggle. Like, and you've already set up, like...
No, because I'll do it again. Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
It's been done. There are many others that do a middle film perfectly fine because they have a story.
Yeah.
Felt like they didn't have a deep enough story to do this, and they've stretched it. But you can enjoy it. And I think you can think it's a good movie, but you can also think it's a bad movie. It's the problem is the extremes is where I have an issue. You saying it's a brilliant movie and you saying it's a terrible movie confuses the fuck out of me, and I really want justification for both.
It's weird. I think if like if you're looking at all these films, would you just direct people back to Halloween 1 and 2 and go, if you've not seen any Halloween films?
Well, I wouldn't even be directing Halloween 2. I'd just say watch Halloween.
Yeah, and you stand alone, leave it.
Yeah. But then I would always say, like, do them all. If you want to do them all eventually, don't listen to my opinion. Don't listen to my opinion. Don't listen to your opinion. Don't listen to anyone's opinion but your own. But take some of what's said when people say it on board and look for a consensus view. Yeah. If everyone's saying the same thing, there's a high chance it's true. If the consensus is the dialogue and Evil Dies Tonight is ropey and a little bit cheesy and forced, it is. Yeah. Like, that many people, it's that aspect. Just like if everybody says a movie's a fucking brilliant movie, and you're the one person saying it's not, chances are you're wrong.
Yeah.
Chances are. So when it comes to things like 4, 5, and 6, the consensus is they're bad movies. But I'm telling you, and others will tell you, there's things you can enjoy, and they've got a consistent story across those 3.
And if you want to check them out as well, I think now's a good time to watch them, because I've seen on like streaming sites, they've kind of gone for the whole thing of, Halloween Kills is out. They put more of the...
Go get them.
I think Halloween 1 to 4 is on Netflix, so I saw the other day, so that's quite a good shout already.
But yeah, maybe follow along with us next year and do them as your own personal in-depth. I think Halloween Kills is going to be one of the most divisive movies in the Halloween franchise for a while, in that it splits an audience completely. Yeah. But I also think time will not be kind to this.
No.
I think the longer thing goes on, particularly if Halloween ends up being a good film, I think that will help it. Yeah. Because then it's going to be like, you know what, Halloween Kills is fine because it's bookended by 2 great movies. Yeah. But if Halloween Ends is not a good movie,
pressure. Then
there's a real problem because then you're like, so literally it was Halloween 2018, that was a decent one, and the rest, that's what ends up happening.
You made us go through 3 films to get to a conclusion.
That was just not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, basically, is it going to Game of Thrones it? Find out. Listen, if you like it, more power to you. I'm glad to hear it. Please let us know in the comments. If you hate it, tell us why. Tell us what it is about that you specifically hate. We're fascinated to understand other people's opinions as our own. For us, I think we're both in agreement on this. It's fine. Just not worth watching. Yeah? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?